What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Before we get started, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button with the notification bell so you get notified every time I bring a brand new video. All right, guys, let's get into it. So we are here at the last bit of the What is a Woman documentary. We're going to go ahead and finish this off. We got a couple more people that he's going to be talking to, and we'll talk about it as we go along. Let's just go ahead and get into it.
We are seeing kids that are identifying as animals going to school, and they are purring instead of answering questions, and they meow, and the teachers are not allowed to question it because it's considered a queer identity.
So you have kids that are going to school and they're saying, I'm a cat. Mm-hmm. And the teachers have to affirm them as a cat.
Yes, so it's
So
not
schools
just
are
the
like
young ones.
literal zoos now, basically.
Yeah.
I am a 27-year-old transgender woman. I am a Wolftherian and a member of the furry fandom.
When and how did you discover this inner
What
wolfness?
the hell?
Probably around age 10 or 11. I was watching an anime about wolves and see the wolf running across the screen, and I'm somehow just intrinsically like, oh, that's me.
Have you spent any time around
He said, "Oh, that's me." Oh gosh.
biological wolves?
Yes.
That sounds dangerous also. What context are you?
So I was a volunteer with a preserve, and I've also visited many wolf preserves.
Are you able to communicate with the wolves?
Am I going to have a conversation with a wolf in the way that I'm communicating you and I? Obviously not. Am I going to read their body language, respond appropriately to their behaviors and their nonverbal cues? Yes.
Would you be able to give us an example of this wolf communication?
No.
fam.
I'm not comfortable doing so.
Okay, all right. How exactly have these ideas become so pervasive?
First of all, I think we need to remember that in the West, at least, we have it drilled into our minds from childhood onwards that personal happiness is the key to individual flourishing. Secondly, we think of ourselves in psychological terms. I am my feelings. And in order for me to be happy, I have to be able to express my feelings. I have to be outwardly that which I feel myself to be inwardly. Thirdly, we're taught that interfering with somebody else's happiness is very bad. We need to acknowledge that there are powerful lobby groups, powerful cultural and political lobby groups driving this thing.
Where do we draw the line, though? I mean, crackheads, they're personally happy doing crack. Weirdos that mess with little kids, they're personally happy doing what they do. So we're going to eventually get to the point where, since personal happiness matters, that we're not even just going to interfere with people doing immoral stuff, illegal stuff. That doesn't make sense. This is the problem with this left ideology, this leftist ideology. There is no line to be drawn. That's why it just keeps getting worse and worse and further out every single day. Every single day. It's because you're going to interfere with somebody's personal happiness, so you can't hold them accountable. You can't say nothing. You can't criticize. You can't judge. You can't, none of that. We got to bring shaming back. That's the problem that we're having with society. We've stopped shaming people for doing bullshit.
Hollywood is pressing LGBTQ plus matters in so many movies. We're seeing it in the way Amazon sets up its algorithms. There are all kinds of factors in society that are pushing what would really be numerically a fairly minority interest into being one of the main political focal points of this generation.
Minority of the minorities.
After my operation, I will be a woman.
Why can't she just be a lesbian?
Because she's not a lesbian, Mom. She's a boy.
Because I was born in a girl's body.
Can I ask you a question? Why don't you kiss me?
The whole idea of social contagion, that there could be something in one's social environment that could play some role in somebody coming out identifying as trans, would you say that that is definitely part of your story?
When I look back, I don't think I would have ever even considered seeing myself as a boy without these social aspects, especially if I hadn't joined these online communities.
Yep.
I identify as
TikTok.
non-binary. I'll officially be changing my pronouns to they, them.
My pronoun.
Look, she went back to she, her a couple of weeks ago. It's just a little bit how you feel. Look, a couple of weeks ago, this was when she first came out as they, them, and then a couple of weeks ago, she's like, no, you know what? I want to go ahead and add she, her back into the category. I'm telling you. Excuse me. People that identify me as they, them, meaning it's multiple people. That means it's because they got multiple personalities. They got something inside of them. I don't know what it is. I don't know what, you guys can, speculate with me. That has taken a little bit part of themselves over. And that's why they're identifying as multiple people. Because it's multiple people within them. That's why they want to outwardly express that. And I hope you're putting 2 and 2 together on what I'm trying to say here before I get this channel get taken down. I know you know what I'm trying to say.
Are he, him, and demon self.
I've been going by
They're right there! Right there! Right there! Right? She just said it. I did not have to say it. She said it for us. She confirmed it for us. I'm not even going to repeat it. Go back and listen to what she just said. I know I'm not crazy. Look at her face. Confirmation, another confirmation right there, man.
4 years now. I'm pretty comfortable with it.
I use they, them pronouns.
There was literally a period of a few weeks to a few months. I started out as an ally, and then eventually I was starting to identify as transgender.
We are trans models.
So they go on the internet and they're told that all of their problems will be solved if they become a man.
Kids are being taught you might feel like you're a boy, even if you have a vagina and you're a girl. You are what you feel you are.
Some people are girls, some are boys, some are both, some are neither. Gender is all about how we feel on the inside and how we express ourselves.
Ah, the gender fluid teacher. What do I go by in the classroom? I go by Teacher Fambrini.
As a queer teacher, my agenda is to show little boys that they don't have to be like as stereotypically masculine, that they can like paint their nails and wear earrings and like still be a guy and like it can be cool.
So you worry that there could be a sort of social contagion element of this?
A teeny tiny bit, maybe.
Looking back on it, it was the same pattern, just kids who were really struggling, kids who were very alone and isolated.
They have anxiety. They don't fit in with their peers. They don't know where they belong.
Maybe they didn't have a welcoming family life.
This is side effects of social media.
They just got caught up in these communities online.
Then they discover, hey, there's this group of people, and they also don't fit in. They're different. They're not sure who they are. Gee, that's where I fit in.
Today is the day before my top surgery. I am waking up tomorrow at 5 a.m. to have a subcutaneous mastectomy.
We're telling children when they haven't fully developed that all you have to do is medically transition and you fit in. I was one of those kids. It got me at 42. Your child doesn't have a chance.
At all. That's what I'm saying. If these adults are struggling like they are, just like that last video I made not too long ago, these kids are not going to know how to function. They're not going to, they have no idea. Y'all think the suicide rate is high now? Are you serious? And the suicide rate was higher when it was something that could be fixed through therapy. The suicide rate now is going to be even crazier because this is something they can't fix. This is something they can never go back from. There was some people that committed suicide because of their, mindset back in the day. And there were some that didn't because it was fixed, because they went and got the help. But now people that transitions, you can't get no help. You can't go to therapy and transition your body back to its original state. So what's going to happen to the people that can't cope with that?
It's all right. This is only going in one direction. You will respect us.
As parents come to understand more about gender identity, kids are coming out at younger ages.
It's exciting. And you know who gets it right? Is this next generation.
The next generation who's already telling us that our antiquated ideas of things have to be a certain way just don't apply to them.
They're rejecting a lot of our social mores. They're tweaking the system.
Oh my God.
I just don't think it's realistic to put this decision on them that is basically saying, are you okay with the risk of permanent health effects that you can never ever reverse? How can you ask that of such a small child?
I'm a physician and I use medication.
Certainly, it's a bit of a Faustian bargain.
Puberty blockers, which are completely reversible.
You keep invoking the word truth, which is condescending and rude.
Some women have penises, right? Some men have vaginas.
Does a chicken cry? Does a chicken commit suicide?
I'm not a woman, so I can't really answer that.
I guess because I got a dick.
Nightmare. It's a freaking nightmare. It is a freaking nightmare, bro. I feel you.
Somehow this madness has infected our entire society. Am I the crazy one? I'm done asking questions.
Tanner Cross is on administrative leave for what he said about gender identity. He said he would not call a student who's transgender by their preferred pronoun.
I can't lie to children, and I got to also represent a whole community that believes in biological facts and scientific facts. And I can't do that to kids.
You get into teaching because you love kids, and this policy started coming into play, and I was like, wait a minute, it's causing me, I'm gonna have to lie to my kids, the ones I've always wanted to protect.
Do we have assaults in our bathrooms or our locker rooms regularly?
To my knowledge, we don't have any records of assaults occurring in our restroom. The predator transgender student or person, simply, it does not exist.
The Virginia Department of Education says it is now reviewing whether the Loudoun County School District has properly reported cases of sexual assault. This comes after a 15-year-old was charged on 2 separate occasions for assaulting 2 different students at different schools.
Wow.
Dozens rallying tonight in Loudoun County to protest the school's policies.
So that includes limiting who can talk during public comment portions of board meetings. One speaker leased property in the area just so he could speak tonight. Fox 5's Paris Jones is live with the details.
That's right. Conservative commentator Matt Walsh told me he's leasing out someone's basement in Loudoun County so he'd be able to speak during tonight's meeting.
I decided last week to fulfill my lifelong dream of being a Loudoun County resident. You know, I've always felt like I lived in Tennessee. I felt sort of like a Virginian trapped in a Tennessean's body. I identify as sort of state fluid, I guess.
This is Matt Walsh. He tweeted, "How do you do, fellow Virginian?"
All-time greatest
Now I just
troll
gotta
of
explain
all
to my wife and kids that we're gonna be
all time.
staying in someone's basement.
Greatest troll of all time, Matt Walsh.
They tried to muzzle me by not allowing me to speak. And when that didn't work, they tried to muzzle me with a mask. I would thank you all for allowing me to speak to you tonight, but you tried not to allow it, yet here I am. Now, you only give us 60 seconds, so let me get to the point. You are all child abusers. You prey upon impressionable children and indoctrinate them into your insane ideological cult, a cult which holds many fanatical views, but none so deranged as the idea that boys are girls and girls are boys. By imposing this vile nonsense on students to the point even of forcing young girls to share locker rooms with boys, you deprive these kids of safety and privacy and something more fundamental too,
Look at that.
which is truth. If education is not grounded in truth, then it is worthless. Worse, it is poison. You are poison. You are predators. I can see why you try to stop us from speaking. You know that your ideas are indefensible. You silence the opposing side because you have no argument. You can only hide under your beds like pathetic little gutless cowards hoping we shut up and go away, but we won't.
We will not go away.
I promise
At
you
all.
that.
At all. At all. All right, guys. That's the end of that documentary there. He just does a little... Well, let me see. Yeah. We can watch it together.
Johnny's a boy with a big imagination. One day he's a dog, the next day a crustacean. Johnny's mom loves her son's make-believe time. You're Johnny the Walrus till you change your mind.
Matt Walsh is out with a new children's book. The book is called Johnny the Walrus. What is this about?
It sold out on Amazon in a few hours.
So I have embraced my true calling as a children's author, hence the cardigan. The book is about a little boy who's very imaginative and playful, and like I have 4 kids, and they all have an imagination.
Yeah.
And he likes to pretend to be different things, and one day he pretends to be a walrus. And unfortunately, his mother is very progressive and thus confused. And so she's convinced by the internet and by society that if your child is identifying as something, then he really is that thing. And so she tries to raise her child as a walrus, as a sort of trans walrus, respecting his self-identity. And one morning, he came downstairs barking and clapping. Wood spoons for tusks and sock fins a-flapping. He had spoons in his mouth. He was pretending to be a walrus. I'm Johnny the Walrus, he said with a roar.
Johnny the Walrus, nedo karalo gueru.
This is a hot topic.
Yes.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's good for us to have these conversations so people open their minds and relearn and unlearn to what we've been taught.
So I want this
That
to
dude's
be
a perv.
place to talk about and learn.
As you can see, there's an ongoing evolution of language.
This dude is a straight perv. You go to, okay, so I'm gonna tell you a little story. I think it was the LA school district. I'm not exactly sure 100% which department, but they shared a diversity clip, a diversity video of this guy and another lesbian Muslim, which doesn't make any sense, where they were talking about pronouns. And after their video was done, at the end of the video, they were promoting themselves and telling people to go to their Instagram pages. They put their Instagram headlines in a video and all that good stuff. And if you go to this dude's or whatever the hell he is Instagram, it is foul. It is straight garbage. And they were promoting it at a school district, at an LA school district where kids had access to that. If you go to his page right now, I forgot what was his Instagram? I'm trying to think, because it was literally a couple days ago that I saw it. I'm trying to find it and see if I can put it in this clip. If I can't, you can, trust me, Google him. You just Google this guy, Dr. Phil episode, non-binary dude, Addison, and his Instagram will come up. I'm telling you, it is the most disgusting thing that you will come across. I don't even know how it's still allowed on Instagram. It is straight foul. Foul.
And how people can identify.
My next guest, author and conservative host of Daily Wire's The Matt Walsh Show, talking about his recently published children's book that has since been removed online by a popular large retail chain. Now, Matt says gender is not a social construct, but rooted firmly in biology. True?
True. As human beings, we have a sex, male or female. That is a biological scientific fact. Now, gender is a linguistic term. Words have gender. People don't. You can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. It's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and no matter whenever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify.
So you think it's a delusion?
Well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. It's like, what is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people who...
That describes what?
People who identify as a woman.
What is that?
was to each their own. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently.
So
you
that's
want to
the
reduce
problem.
women, you want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals, our chromosomes, right? That's what you're saying.
What you want to do is
that's what
you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood.
Okay.
And turn it into basically a costume that could be worn.
Joining us on stage is Dr. Susie Denbo, Associate Professor at Kent State University. Dr. Denbo, how do you feel those who oppose using pronouns are taking the wrong approach in this conversation?
There's the extreme approach that you are admittedly taking. And then there's also just
Extreme.
ordinary people that might not be comfortable with the language change.
She began by saying that my view is extreme. Okay, so the view that every single person on Earth has held up until 15 seconds ago is extreme. They are conflating gender.
Look how
and
she's
sex.
laughing. You see how she? Did you see that? It was like one of those like, you know, like. Did you catch that? Did you catch that little giggle? Like, oh yeah, I'm fucking with him mentally. Like she knows that she's deliberately doing what she's doing.
Because on one hand they say, well, you got your biological sex,
She couldn't
but then
even
your
hide it.
gender is whatever social construct. But then they turn around and say that trans women are women. So a man who identifies with the gender, the social construct of womanhood, actually is a woman.
Part of me wants to ask why you care so much, because it's really not that big of a deal.
Can I answer that?
Look at those.
I
look
care
at-
about the truth. So
Sheep
basic
in the
truth
audience.
matters. I want to live in a society where people care about the truth. I care about children, and these insane ideas
do
about
too.
gender are being foisted on kids, and that bothers me quite a bit. I care about the women who are having their opportunities stolen from them. I care quite a bit. Yeah.
I wanted us to have a safe place to be able to talk about this, and it seems like we should just keep the dialogue going and hopefully find some middle ground.
Come on, Phil. Don't virtue signal like that. Days after this episode was aired, the other members on the panel complained they were emotionally damaged by the conversation. In response, CBS and Hulu removed the episode from their platform. Surprise, surprise. I'll stop it right there, guys. I actually have the full episode. So I will be doing a video on that here coming a couple of days. So just keep a lookout on that. But just let me know what you guys think of what we just watched. It's straight delusion. I mean, if you say otherwise, you're delusional yourself. I mean, at this point, when I come across people on social media or any of these platforms or whatever, and I look at their bio and stuff, and they have their pronouns listed or what, I don't even engage. I do not have a conversation with those people. If you ask me what my pronouns are, and if you tell me what you identify as, no conversation to be had. So, all right, guys, man, leave a comment down below. I'm trying to keep this video from getting any longer. Thank you so much for watching. If you are, like I said, if this is your first time on the channel, hit that subscribe button down below, please, and I'll see you on the next video.